Hello and welcome to Justice Losers, the most unqualified podcast exploring irrelevant questions about entertainment, namely movies, TVs, and comics. I'm your host, Preston, joined as always by my delightful co-host.
We're on a bit of a deadline here.
We are
lightning round. Let's go.
We're on a pretty quick deadline here. Matt, what should people do?
Like, subscribe, tell a friend.
Oh my God, Matt is... We have 45 minutes to get out of this room.
I can talk very quickly when I need to.
Can't wait till we have our own REM studio. We are talking about villains today.
And specifically what the respective motivations may be. Okay, I'm going to stop. This is going to get really old really quick.
About a month ago, it'd probably be at this point.
Yeah, at this point. Yep.
We talked about what drives a well-written hero. Do you happen to remember what those what the results were? What
drives a well-written hero? It's the whatever car company paid the most for product placement. Boom, got him.
Not Nissan.
Oh, snap.
This is kind of a funny internal tie-in because we had
a whole conversation.
One of them was Gage, who fixed our car that got broken that was Nissan, had eternal and flexible optimism is the first one. There we go. Now, ignoring this entire story we talked about, there is vengeance to justice.
Right. And
crap, what was the other one? Survival, and then also journey just being thrust upon you.
Sure.
So the eternal and flexible optimism, my personal favorite one, is a hero that has an ideal at the very beginning of the story and that is challenged throughout the entire story. That it's their optimism about just generally either life or existence or themselves is what drives them through the story. But that's what's challenged directly. And they come out of it at the end with a new perspective on the same ideal.
Truth, justice, in the American way. Superman, here's your archetype.
Yep. We have survival. I'm going out of order now.
Yep.
That is literally just like zombie apocalypse. Don't die. And it can be survival of just like, I want to not die.
Right.
Or in the case of 28 Days Later, or it can be survival for someone they care about in the case of The Road. We've got... what are the other ones?
Vengeance into justice.
It is someone who's probably gone through a traumatic event. They want to get revenge on the person that they that gave them the traumatic event, and then shifted their goal to be some sort of thing of someone else shouldn't experience what I experienced. Batman. And then we have the journey is thrust upon them, and it's just like, let's just get it done. For a variety of sakes. Examples are Luke Skywalker or Frodo Baggins. So those are what drives hero. Today we're talking about what drives a well-written villain.
Whichever car company paid the second most for product placement.
I want to clarify right now that we're going to avoid anti-heroes.
Yes, that'll be a separate episode.
These are going to be things that they do that make them want to do bad things for the sake of doing bad things, probably.
Yep.
Let's talk about that.
All right.
Do you remember the 5 types of villains?
Not even slightly.
We have the monster. Examples are Grendel, the lizard Killer Croc as a twisted image of the other. That's the twisted image. So
sure,
I guess
doesn't matter.
Move on. Enemy commander. Example is Satan in Paradise Lost. Hitler for Captain America. Mad Scientist, which is like Victor Frankenstein and old version of Lex Luthor. We have the Criminal Mastermind, which is like all the Bond villains, Kingpin in the Daredevil show, Lex Luthor, based on Adam Worth, which was an actual criminal mastermind in real world. And we have the inverted superhero or supervillain, which is basically... or inverted supervillain, which is like the Joker is like an antithesis of Batman and almost all of the MCU villains.
Exactly.
So those are our 5 main villains.
Yep.
Types. Main villain archetypes. I feel like we can go back and listen to that episode. I don't remember what episode number that was.
It was a while ago.
It was probably in the 160s,
something like that.
70s. Go back and listen to that episode for a basis, because I feel like this is a good one to build on. Build on a basis. Why is my bees
We don't have time.
Bees! So what drives a monster?
So, For one thing, I don't think your categories can be broken down neatly into each separate category as driven by their own particular motivation, except monster. Monsters are probably pretty uniform. They're just like, oh, it's a whole smash.
I feel like monsters fit in with the survival. Plot twist! No, but actually, I feel like monsters are so driven by instinct that it's literally survival. Frankenstein was just wandering around, didn't know what the hell was going on, and was just like, people are attacking me.
Movie version, to be specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Jaws, the shark, eats people because he's a big, hungry shark boy.
Yep.
Not a big, hungry lava girl.
Let's talk about enemy commander.
Okay.
What drives an enemy commander?
Well, I think it depends a little bit.
Actually, you're right. I don't think we can really...
I don't think it's going to break down as neatly as that.
I think we could talk about certain drives and then kind of see which one of these...
I think one that would suit itself well to enemy commander is just the lust for power, lust for domination.
Okay.
I'm thinking the Emperor from Star Wars.
Yeah.
He wants to rule the world.
He just wants to be the Senate.
I am the Senate.
I don't know what that was, but that is such a contorted and disgusting perversion of what the joke is. And
we don't have time.
So mad at you.
Sauron.
Sauron. Yeah. I mean, what's his big old story? Does he just want power? He just wants to be the dude that's...
I mean, if you confine yourself strictly to Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Okay.
That's all he does. He wants to rule Middle Earth, put it all under his shadow, control everything, and remake it in his image with the ring. If you get into the Silmarillion, it's a little more complicated about how he's Morgoth's lieutenant and stuff follows from that. But it's less interesting than, and less well known than just I want to be in charge. I want power. And I always feel like it's a one-dimensional motivation. Yeah. Right. Just, I want power, but it's a believable one.
I think it comes with a lot of like tangential, it comes from other stuff. So let's say, for a dumb example, there's a kid who grew up with a lot of wealth and things went and he wants to maintain the wealth, but doesn't have the skills to maintain it the way his family did. So he becomes a mob boss. Okay. And this is not based on any example of...
This sounds wildly implausible already, and I have 4 plot holes for you.
And so he wants to take over, but he have control, but it's a control that's based on wanting to maintain a lifestyle.
Dang it, I forgot to talk about the Many Saints of Newark trailer.
Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Oh well. Check out last week for when Matt forgot to talk about the Many Saints of Newark trailer.
Sorry.
I don't know. I feel like a lust for power would come from something.
I don't know if it necessarily would. We're
talking about a well-written villain.
Yeah.
Which means non-one-dimensional.
There are real people in real life that's only motivation is power.
Yeah, they're poorly written people.
Oh, snap.
Oh! What? I don't know. I'm not sold on that being a well-written...
I think it can be done right if you do give it a cause.
Is the Emperor a well-written villain?
No, not even slightly.
There we go. Is Sauron a well-written villain?
Not applicable.
Okay, why? He's not really the villain.
There's not any writing. He doesn't have any dialogue. He doesn't
there we go.
Who he is.
So not applicable.
Okay, so I was going to go with Sador from Tenet.
Well, he wants to destroy everything, doesn't he?
No, not in strict enough terms. Not in those terms strictly. So when he lays it out, spoilers for Tenet, I guess.
Been out long enough. The people who are gonna see it have already seen it.
Probably. So the plot object is the algorithm, which it reverses the flow of time and will save the people at the end of time from their impending destruction by setting them on a course where they can theoretically survive. Sador's going to die anyway. He wants to make himself a god that saves the future world and takes the rest of the world down with him. So it's partly just sort of a bitterness of just I'm going to be evil for the sake of being evil, but he explicitly says at one point that he wants to be a god.
Okay, so that's not really being lust for power, it's lust for being an idol, making a difference, but it's a corrupted making a difference.
Okay. Slight distinction there. Okay. I like it.
I think that is tangentially, I feel like that's an interesting twist on the, never mind. I was going to say on the Vengeance for Justice, but not really.
Okay. I'm glad you bring that up, because I do want to talk about Justice for Vengeance. Killmonger.
Justice for Vengeance.
Justice to Vengeance.
Justice to Vengeance.
He starts out with a legitimate point about, I want justice. My father was betrayed, and my people around the world are oppressed and enslaved. I'm going to commit vengeance on the rest of the world. Their nominally reasonable means lead them to unreasonable ends.
Right. Yeah, no, he is to me one of the best villains in the MCU. And I agree. Like it's more of just vengeance. I think it's a contorted idea of justice. Vengeance is a perversion of justice. Yeah.
I just really like that I can do the little reversal.
Oh no, I loved
justice,
it. That was awesome.
Justice.
That's kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit.
Great joke for audio listeners there.
Video people.
Check us out on YouTube.
I feel like most of the good villain motivations are just a twisted version of hero motivations. I feel like I wasn't going to be able to subtly get to that point at the end, so I'm just going to lay it out right now.
Yeah, no. A lot of them are.
I think that it's a vengeance. Well, what distinguishes a villain's vengeance versus an anti-hero's vengeance?
We'll save that for the anti-hero episode, so I've had a chance to think about it a little bit.
Think about that, listeners.
There you go.
What makes a villain wanting to get vengeance different from an anti-hero getting vengeance?
Send us a 5-paragraph essay, justiceloserspot@gmail.com, because I don't know the answer, and I'm going to need to have something prepared for when we do an
help.
episode.
Help us, please.
Help, please.
Yeah. What else? What are other villains that are really well written? Actually, here's a pretty good one. Literally just brainwashing, manipulated. Like,
okay.
It's kind of a cop-out that they're not really the villain.
Sure.
But once a hero... I mean, Darth Vader was kind of manipulated.
Yeah.
Was definitely manipulated.
A little bit.
Totally over the course of 2 movies was 100% manipulated.
Yeah.
And he's a well-written villain-ish. Like,
sorta.
We kind of get he's a poorly written... The idea of what Darth Vader was good.
Yeah, the pawn of the enemy.
So I guess we can't really consider
enemy
them
mastermind
the villain.
I mean, he's a villain. Yeah,
but I think it's unfair to call it a pawn. Like unfair to call it a pawn.
His motivations are not his own motivations.
Yeah. Which I think could make it survival.
Yeah, they do become sort of a monster in that sense.
Ooh. Look at us go. Woo. What else?
Well, so then what motivates someone to manipulate people into becoming their villainous pawns?
Fear of weakness?
Fear of weakness, lust for control.
Yeah. I think the fear of weakness one it's like literally just people like dogs being backed into a corner, and so they like I mean, it could be that someone traumatized them or like whatever the reason that got them there. Like there are some good villains that are just backed into a corner and everything they're doing is just for their own survival or for someone else's survival for someone else.
Yeah.
Like they're doing villainous things because they're being controlled by like their kid is kidnapped or some shit.
Vesper from Casino Royale is there's spoilers for Casino Royale.
I have not seen Casino Royale.
Okay, never mind.
Spoiled. I've been spoiled. I think the problem that I'm having with this episode is that every time we come up with a reasonable, like well-written justification for a villain, there's probably another villain behind it. And I think the point might be that there's no good justification for villainy, because any justification implies a worse person.
Just the sheer fun of it all.
Joker.
Ramsey
sheer
Bolton.
Fun of it all. Like it's a well-written hero in that it's terrifying.
Did you just call the Joker a hero?
Villain.
Yeah.
Back off. He's a hero. I mean, yeah, it's like, I guess what I'm doing is I'm mixing up the idea of a well-written hero versus a justifiable, or well-written villain versus a justifiable villain.
Yeah. Hela is one of my favorite MCU villains.
And
she's not justifiable
at all.
but she's so much fun.
Yeah.
Because she's just there for the fun of it.
Yeah, I think the fun of it is a really good one that, like, snaps me out of that misconstruation.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah, and Joker, and it's just, like, they're just fun to watch, and...
Ramsey Bolton?
They have very specific goals, but, like, it's just... Who?
Ramsey Bolton.
Oh, Ramsey Bolton, totally.
Yeah.
He's a little bit survival-y because his family is totally bad.
Yeah. I mean, he's a product of his environment in that sense.
I think product of your environment is another one that, like, you can have a villain that's just the way they are, because manipulation with Darth Vader, Gordon Ramsay, Chef Gordon Ramsay. What a villain.
You know, and he does the sausage thing, and he's like...
It was just a weird thing for you to do.
Great for the audio listeners, I'm sure. Video listeners. Video listeners. I was apologizing to the audio people that missed out on it.
Oh. I'm apologizing to everyone for having to listen to this tangent, unless Gage is cutting it out. Thank you, Gage.
He probably left it in.
Yeah. What else? We have... Oh, we're actually making pretty decent time.
Yeah, we can slow this down a little bit. What are some other good villains? Let's work at this backwards. Kingpin. Daredevil.
Yeah. Control.
TV show specifically. Control, and he almost feels like, again, a justice into vengeance kind of guy.
Yeah.
Where he starts with, hey, this is a broken system, bad place. Let's fix it, but along the way, he kind of discovers a taste for power and control and fear of weakness.
I think there's an element with him, a desire for idolatry, where, like, it's you want to be and that kind of goes back to what's his name from Tenet, where it's like you want to be someone who's remembered for something, but it gets twisted along the way.
Yeah,
and that can lead to some cool like storytelling of them just losing their mind, because it's like it's a goal that you can see yourself attaining, but also watch it fade away. And that's I've always liked watching. My favorite villains are the ones that, like, snap and, like, you can see them panicking at the end.
Azula.
Yes. Oh, that's a great villain. What's her deal? Probably just satisfy daddy. Don't like that sentence. But also,
that one.
Mark Hamill daddy was, like, lust for power, just wanted to control everything. Although he wasn't a fantastic villain, really.
Who, Darth Vader?
No. Fire Lord Ozai. Not Ozai. Yeah, Ozai.
Ozai.
Yeah. Yeah, he just, like, he's just a scary villain, but, like, didn't have a lot. He was just like, I'm just gonna kill everything.
Yeah.
It's in my way.
Yeah, and I think a well-written villain doesn't need a well-written motivation for that reason, because they can just be big and scary. You hype them up right.
Well, now I'm having an existential question about what's the difference between a drive and a motivation. Because we're talking about what drives a well-written villain, but a well-written villain doesn't need a motivation.
Well, they don't need an interesting one.
Oh, I guess that's true.
It can be as boring as, I'm Hela, I'm going to rule Asgard. And they can still be well-written and fun.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We've been recording for a while. And I'm getting tired, and my brain is not working. And I keep wanting to go back to Black Widow, but I can't.
Yeah, there's some
spoilers.
really good examples there. Money.
Money's good.
Night Manager guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good example. He's he literally just like one of the best. I really liked hearing the story about like what one of the main characters history with him. It's like they just saw a horrendous weapon used, and she saw like murder, and he saw profit, and was like, and his thing was just like, he's just money, and he's just a psychopath, and he's just like, or sociopath, has no emotions towards anything except for just profit.
Right.
He's another good example of watching someone snap right at the end.
Yep.
Angry Hugh Laurie is a scary thing to see.
Can we just talk about Hugh Laurie's performance in that for a second? Because, like, I mean, he's great and very iconic in House as the gruff guy, but he's got the heart of gold, and he's I actually first came to know him from Jeeves and Wooster.
Jeeves and Wooster?
Jeeves and Wooster, which is a British.
Jeeves and Schuster.
It's a British sitcom from like the 70s. With Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie. And Hugh Laurie plays Bertie Wooster, who's a rich playboy dilettante type guy. And Stephen Fry plays Jeeves, his inimitable butler, who takes care of him and rescues him from himself.
Jeeves comes from? Or no, that's Holmes Jones. It's like
I think so.
Is that where this comes from?
I mean, maybe not that, but Jeeves is. I mean, it's from the book that it's based on by P.G. Wodehouse. I really liked that show for about a year when I was 11 or 12, and it's a fun show. But I got to know Hugh Laurie from that, where he's kind of an affable, bumbling British guy. And so in Night Manager, like 90% of the time, he's just this affable British guy. And then every now and then he goes like full dead shark eyes, and it's terrifying. Yes. It's so good though.
Anyway. What else? I feel like I've shot down a bunch of ideas because of my misconstruation of
Sounds too close to menstruation. It can't be part of the
misconstruement.
Sure, I'll allow it.
Misconstrumentism.
There it is.
Who are well-written villains? Thanos is a well-written villain.
Oh yeah, forgot about him.
What does he want? He just wants to save the world or the universe from themselves.
Yeah, and it's sort of an idolatry. Like he
doesn't want to be remembered.
Yeah.
When he does it, he literally just off to the farm.
Yeah.
He doesn't like make everyone realize that he's the one that did it.
He
doesn't really want idolatry.
He talks about wanting to watch the sunrise on a grateful universe, but he doesn't want the gratitude.
Yeah.
He's driven man on the mission.
I wonder, that's kind of a Batman, because his drive was because he watched his planet kill themselves from overpopulation. And
so is he just justice into
vengeance?
Except it wasn't vengeance per se. It was just justice into on a lifestyle. Because like you're right. It's not really much of a vengeance. Like you can abstractify it by saying it's a vengeance on a lifestyle, but that's not satisfying. No one wants that. No, it's justice that's gotten itself twisted up.
Yeah. And it's not even justice. It's just like,
ice.
Protecting people from what he's gone through. What'd you say?
Just ice.
Ice.
Mr. Freeze.
Oh, he's a well-written villain.
Yeah.
Doing whatever he can to protect or get something like it's. Yeah, that's a good one.
I'd say he kind of almost ties into Thanos there, where it's just he has a mission and he's going to do what it takes to accomplish it. And sometimes that gets itself twisted up with things that he probably shouldn't be doing. But
I think it's, for them, it's a very clear goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one of the ends justify the means.
Yeah.
It's a really strong one with villains.
Yep.
But also it's a strong one with anti-heroes.
Yeah. That's where you start to bleed over that edge a little bit.
Yeah. So let's just keep talking about villains. Ignore anti-heroes for now.
No anti-heroes. Okay.
I did say that at the beginning.
Yep. Does that make Thanos an anti-hero?
No, stop it. No antiheroes.
Does that make Mr. Freeze an antihero?
Yes, but no, stop it and not antiheroes. Let's talk about some heroes that are poorly written and what we could possibly do to improve them.
Villains.
Damn it. Did I say heroes again?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Whiplash.
Let's talk about Whiplash.
He's a bad, poorly written... No, Hammer is a poorly written villain.
Hammer's a great villain. What are you talking about?
Is he?
He's the only interesting thing in that entire movie. Except for like the first half's pretty good.
What makes that movie
bad? That it sets up like 13 plot dominoes and then basically just shoos them away by having Tony's dad invent an element with Belgian waffle stands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it sets up...
That. I always forget the donut thing happened.
Yep.
And I always forget that just like the invented... Yeah,
that's the thing that gets me. It's like it sets up all these really interesting problems and then just hand waves them away.
Yeah.
Basically.
What makes Loki an interesting villain?
He's just in it for the fun of it, right?
I don't know.
Except Izzy, because I mean we had a whole psychological breakdown of him in the show.
Yeah.
Like you do it because you need to feel powerful, because inside it's like it's the bully mentality of like you feel weak, you feel isolated, and so you need to lash out, partly for attention, partly just because you want other people to feel bad as well, because you like feeling powerful. It fills that void inside of you that can't ever be filled. Hey kids, don't be bullies. It's not worth it.
If you are going to be bullies, only do it to aunts.
Not uncles. Definitely not cousins.
I was talking about the Ant Bully, the movie. It's a whole...
I'm not aware.
You haven't seen it? It's not good.
Is the villain badly written?
I don't... Not really. What makes a well-written horde villain? Not whatever the Walking Dead is post season 3. Ooh, Negan. Did you ever get to Negan?
No.
Ah, man,
Not
he's
yet.
in it for the fun of it, but also it's survival. It's like a goal. That's not an individual goal or like a.
That's a putting a positive spin on the bad situation you found yourself in. I'd characterize Ramsay Bolton like that. You know, he's found himself in a situation where he has to be at least somewhat evil to survive the Bolton family politics. But he's going to have some fun with it, darn it. He's going to put on a smile and have a great attitude about all those
Cut
murders.
off a penis. Jesus. You did it again, folks.
Maybe Gage could clip that GIF off the internet and just put it over my face when I do that.
What else?
Well, you're talking about horde villains, and I think horde villains are inherently kind of problematic because they're just there.
Yeah. What was Henry Cavill's motivation in Fallout?
He was kind of a twisted sense of righteousness, man on a mission. The world's gone bad. Like a lot of those Mission Impossible villains, it's just, oh, the world is corrupt and evil, and I will destroy it and remake it in my image. Sort of Bond villainy stuff.
Did the Emperor have a justifiable goal, or was it just control?
In Star Wars?
Yeah.
The Emperor? Order, I guess. Trade-off of the security of control.
Yeah.
There's a good argument that the Empire's the real heroes in the original trilogy.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the...
yeah.
He has explicitly stated that it is all an American commentary. I'm trying to think of Assassin's Creed, because there's a lot of really it's mostly like control,
right?
Like order, like that people's freedoms are what causes problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that is a pretty common one.
It's like a twisted sense of philosophy.
Yeah, the protect people from themselves. Protect people from themselves. I'm thinking of iRobot, the main villain at the end of that one is like, yeah, humans, it's a robot. The villain ends up being a robot. Spoilers for a movie from 2005. It's mostly just there for Will Smith to do one-liners and action stuff. Yep. A pretty good movie, all things considered. But the robot at the end of it follows the 3 laws, and the 3 laws are: robot may not harm a human, or through inaction cause a human to come to harm. And robot looks at the world and says, hey, humans are causing themselves harm all the time. If I carry out inaction and don't save them from themselves, then I'm breaking harming the first law.
Yeah.
And so they decide to impose order on society and take it over. Control. Yeah.
So we're pretty much settling on twisted sense of philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Ends justify the means.
I think those two
they
collide.
Can overlap a lot.
I think they do overlap. But I think they're the same. I think one is a subset of the other. I don't know which one's which, but
I think twisted sense of philosophy is pretty overarching.
Okay. Yeah.
But what else fits in twisted sense of philosophy? Fun! The fun of it!
That's not philosophical.
Enjoying life. What makes life worth living?
Hunting
cutting
humans for sport.
Faces off.
I like that we both had ready-made answers for that.
Yeah.
They were horrifyingly violent.
I got nothing else. We are at 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Give or take the mini dices up that Gage is going to make.
Yep.
We can at least fill the YouTube video, which is the important one.
That's the one that counts.
Do you have anything else you want to say about villains?
Not particularly.
This was a rough one.
Yeah.
We're tired.
Yeah.
And this was also after recording a review and another episode.
Yep. Lesson learned.
Yeah. Except not, because this is not the first time we've done it, and it won't be the last time we've done it.
No.
The real villain is ourselves. Shallst we?
We'd probably better shoust. Thanks everyone for listening.
Apologize for the low energy this one became.
Yeah, we both spent about 6 hours moving people from one apartment to another today. Different people, actually, which was
we weren't helping each other.
Interesting. And then we recorded a review, and then what you've been up to news episode, and we're positively pooped.
My whole body's in pain.
Yeah, we're having it's great. It's fun. So yeah, many apologies. Hopefully the next episode will be a little more upbeat, a little more energy going on there. We're kind of hoping that we might be able to make the next one finally our whodunit episode.
Possibly, hopefully.
Maybe. It's not out of the realm of possibility. That'd be really great if it were, because I did a whole bunch of preparing for that. You watched
so many things.
I watched whole extra miniseries and probably a movie or two, and I should watch more or something, but it's all gone to naught because I don't have any notes on them and it's been too long. So I'm going to be useless. It'll be fun. We'll have a good time. We're on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, all the usual places where you listen to your audio podcasts. Check out our Black Widow review where we reviewed Black Widow. We agreed that it's a good movie. We enjoyed it quite a bit. We're on social media. We're on Facebook, where maybe I've posted a written Black Widow review. I kind of feel bad almost at this point for teasing all these reviews and then just failing to deliver.
Yeah, no one is expecting you to actually do it.
I truly am the worst version of myself. We're on Twitter, @JustUsLosersPod, where we're going to do it. We're going to sit down. We're going to do a Twitter review in 3 minutes here. Need you to pull Twitter up so that we're ready to do it. We're on Instagram, @JustUsLosersPod. We have a Gmail, justusloserspod@gmail.com, where if you have more coherent thoughts about what might motivate a villain, you should probably tell us about it at that email or one of the other social media places if you can cram it into the relevant number of characters. We're on YouTube. If you're listening to this is the audio version. You can find it on all the audio places. It's raw, uncut, unedited. It's pretty edited, honestly, to make us sound slightly less incoherent. But we do fun little video versions that are shorter. They kind of get across just the meat of it, cut out a lot of the fluff. You got a friend that's interested and just wants to get a little taste of us, that'd probably be the place to send them first, not subject them to a massive chunk of us. That's probably it.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.